Welcome to This Explainer. I am honestly so thrilled to have you with us today. We're going to take a really deep, evidence-based look at something pretty much all of us battle on a daily basis, and that's the digital trap of social media. We're going to unpack the actual science behind digital anxiety, look at what the research tells us about how it affects our brains, and most importantly, explore some proven, actionable strategies to finally reclaim our peace of mind.
So, let's start with a really simple question. Have you ever felt like literally everyone else is out there living their absolute best life, except you? You open an app and suddenly you're bombarded with these perfectly curated vacations in Bora Bora while you're, sitting on your couch eating cold pizza. It is so incredibly easy to feel like you're falling behind. If you've ever felt that sinking feeling in your chest while you're just mindlessly scrolling through a feed, I want to assure you right now, your experience is completely valid, and the science proves you are definitely not alone.
We toss around the acronym FOMO a lot in casual conversation, right? But it's actually a formally recognized psychological phenomenon. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, is clinically defined as a pervasive apprehension that others might be having rewarding experiences from which one is absent. And it's deeply tied to our fundamental human need for belonging. We are hardwired to want to be part of the group. Historically, missing out on group activities was a literal threat to our survival. Today, though, that totally natural instinct is basically being hijacked by our digital devices.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The digital trap. 2. The psychology of social comparison. 3. The self-compassion buffer. 4. Managing habits. And finally, 5. The offline antidote.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, the digital trap.
Social media is basically a breeding ground for what psychologists call the compare and despair cycle. Think about it. When you're scrolling, you're looking at a highlight reel, these highly curated, perfectly filtered snapshots of someone's best moments. But you are comparing that carefully crafted image to your own behind the scenes, your full, unedited everyday reality, complete with all the mundane moments and everyday struggles. This whole illusion of perfection can literally cause us to question our own achievements and lives, even if we were feeling perfectly content just 5 minutes before logging on.
Moving on to Section 2, the psychology of social comparison. Okay, let's really dive into this. We've got a conceptual framework from a recent narrative review, and I want to walk you through it step by step. Up at the top, you have social media exposure. Now, when you combine that exposure with social comparison and peer validation, you hit a pretty critical juncture. If your fundamental psychological needs for belonging and competence are currently unmet, this digital exposure funnels straight into intense anxiety, which then blossoms into full-blown FOMO. It's literally a direct pipeline from unmet real-world needs straight to digital distress.
And the stakes here are absolutely real. The literature consistently demonstrates that unchecked FOMO isn't just some fleeting, annoying feeling. It leads directly to heightened anxiety and depressive symptoms. It ruins your sleep quality, it tanks your self-esteem, and it is strongly linked to academic and professional burnout. This constant need to monitor social feeds creates severe cognitive overload. So, the really crucial takeaway here is you are not broken for feeling exhausted by all of this. Your brain is quite literally being overloaded by constant digital vigilance.
All right, Section 3, the self-compassion buffer. Now, a lot of research proposes that cultivating self-compassion, which is basically treating yourself with the exact same kindness and understanding you'd offer a good friend, can drastically decrease the general pressure we put on ourselves. The working theory is that if you actively practice self-compassion, you build this emotional stability that shields your focus from social pressure, which significantly reduces your inclination to constantly compare your real life to the idealized standards you see on the internet.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the data from a recent university thesis exploring this exact relationship. So the study confirmed a significant, positive link between Instagram use and FOMO, which we'd expect. But they also tested if self-compassion acted as a moderator, a buffer against FOMO in the exact moment of scrolling. The result? Completely insignificant. In the exact moment you're scrolling and getting triggered by state FOMO, that intense, immediate spike of anxiety, self-compassion actually failed to act as an instant shield.
So let's clarify this, because it's an absolutely crucial nuance for our day-to-day lives. The online comparison trap is overwhelmingly powerful. You can't just flip a self-compassion switch on the fly while you're actively scrolling through someone's highlight reel and expect it to magically protect your mental health. Actually, scratch that. It's more like trying to use an umbrella in a hurricane. To actually combat FOMO, self-compassion has to be a proactive, long-term practice done outside of the app. It's about building underlying emotional resilience over time, not relying on it as some quick fix while you're already caught in the digital trap.
which leads us perfectly into Section 4, Managing Digital Habits.
Here are 3 structured, highly actionable, evidence-based steps to help you reclaim control over your attention and your self-worth. Step 1. Schedule specific checking times. Try blocking off 15 to 30 minutes to look at apps consciously, rather than just opening them on autopilot 50 times a day. Step 2. Curate your feed. Your feed should actually support your values. And step 3, take regular digital detoxes. Even just a few hours of designated device-free time during the weekend can massively reduce compulsive checking and that heavy cognitive overload we talked about.
Let's break down how to apply this daily with some really protective boundaries. First off, avoid checking social media first thing in the morning when you're literally still blinking the sleep out of your eyes, or right before bed. These are incredibly vulnerable times when your brain is highly impressionable. Next, you've got to ruthlessly unfollow any accounts that trigger envy and replace them with pages promoting body neutrality and authenticity. Finally, consider using apps that track your screen time and actually force you to take a break. The big takeaway here is that your digital environment should be an extension of your wellness, definitely not a constant threat to it.
And that brings us to Section 5, the offline antidote. At the end of the day, FOMO arises from a deep, unmet need for real connection. And social media, well, it just mimics that connection. Empirical evidence strongly suggests that getting out there and participating in offline social activities, hobbies, volunteering, and having meaningful face-to-face interactions actually satisfies that intrinsic human need. By cultivating authentic social connections in the real world, you naturally maintain perspective on your digital life and you drastically reduce your reliance on online validation. Turns out, real life really is the ultimate digital detox.
So, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to chew on today. When was the last time you experienced a truly beautiful, fulfilling moment without feeling this urgent need to capture it and share it online? Constant comparison strips away the beauty of your unique individuality. Your path is yours alone. So maybe try putting the phone down today, step right out of that highlight reel, and just enjoy your own behind the scenes. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.